We're talking about the Dance Dot, which is a product that I guess you guys both, of course, obviously, are both here, so you collaborated on.
Yeah.
And Jackie, but this was more so, I guess, as the dancer, this was sort of your idea. You needed a portable service to dance on, and you came up with something that's rather simple, but pretty powerful, the Dance Dot. Tell me more.
Yeah, well, I am the dancer between the two of us. Cody does dance a little bit, but he's also an amazing carpenter. So we kind of created this together. Basically, I've been a tap dancer my whole life. My mom and grandma are both tap dancers. And Cody and I met in New York City, and we were on tour with a show. And I still wanted to keep up my tap dancing. There wasn't a place to do it necessarily in the hotel room or on the stage at the theater when we weren't performing. So I asked Cody to kind of help me come up with something, and the Dance Dot was invented. So purely selfish reasons at first. Definitely something I wanted.
Now, the dot is very much a dot. It's how big is it?
The Dance Dot is 24 inches.
Right, and it's a circular surface made of, it's not wood, but what's it made out of, Cody?
Tempered masonite.
Ah, well, that sounds fancy. But that's basically what you dance on stage if you're a professional tap dancer, correct?
Yeah. It's definitely something that a lot of the old stages used to be made of. So it goes back to the roots of theater and performing arts.
Okay, so you dance on that, and it's large enough for kids to sort of practice their moves, and the idea is so they don't necessarily have to scuff up the wood floors, or maybe some folks don't even have wood floors, and as a result at home they can't even practice.
Exactly. It's definitely a problem tap dancers face.
And do you use the Dance Dot personally?
I absolutely use the Dance Dot. We actually in New York started something called the Dance Dot Academy, where we do private in-home lessons. So I take it with me and teach at people's homes, and I also use it myself in our apartment when I'm creating steps or choreography to go teach a class, or even if I just feel like tap dancing, really. So. And
also there's a DDPro, which is larger if you want to do more advanced moves.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger, gives you a little bit more space. You can even use it to perform on. We have a lot of customers that do that.
So where do you go to get these types of, the two dots? Online or what?
Yeah, you could check out the website. It's mydancedot.com, and you can order online.
Well, it seems a little too easy.
Super easy.
Yeah, and we were talking off air. This has been going on for about a year, maybe 2 years or so?
Yeah. We started small, just kind of local in New York City. Cody actually was making them all by hand early on. So we couldn't really get too big, and we didn't have a website at that point. It was kind of word of mouth in the city. Right. And then we got a manufacturer and have a big operation going on now. So we have our online store, and we also do sell in some retail stores. In New York City. We're trying to get in California as well, so look out for it here.
Which is good news. I mean, the fact that you guys are doing well means that there are people buying the dots who therefore want to dance. And you think that nowadays folks are more concerned with more of the practical aspects of education. And I don't know if you guys have sort of encountered this issue, but when it comes to the arts, things are getting cut, and a lot of folks are just sort of turning the other way. What's your take on that?
I mean, I could remember being, I think, in about fourth grade in California when all the arts funding sort of ended for public schools. I was lucky where my parents could afford to send me, outside to private dance studios and whatnot to kind of get an arts education. But I think that, in the mainstream world, we have a lot of TV shows now, American Idol, Dancing with the Stars, etc. So I think kids definitely are seeing people perform and be inspired to want to do that. But I think it is difficult these days. You're not getting it in the public schools as much anymore. So people aren't, granted with as many opportunities as they once were.
No, I'm in a business creative class, actually. It's a sort of I don't know what it's called officially, but we talk about being creative in the business sense and how a lot of times it's sort of the antithesis of being corporate is being creative. Coming in with a rainbow tie would be the sort of the extreme example, but you're trying to have sort of creative solutions. And I think a lot of times there's a lot of issues with the world. I mean, we're a wonderful human race, but of course there's just a couple problems that we need to figure out. And sometimes maybe, I'm not necessarily saying to dance it out, but the creative aspect of it, I think, is sort of getting lost, which is sort of the hidden story here. Do you want to weigh in on that one? No? Okay. All right, we'll just keep on chugging down the line. I'm cool. Everything I say is gospel on the show, so we'll just move on. But you, Jackie, you graduated USC in the past. What year did you graduate?
04.
Okay.
Yeah.
2004. Dodgers made the playoffs there. Yeah, first time since '96. Yeah, there you go. Steve Finley Grand Slam was it? Awesome stuff. But what was your major when you graduated?
I was a communication major, so
well,
I was an
Annenberg.
Annenberg girl. Yep.
Maybe that's why we're doing such a great rapport here. But Annenberg's a good place to be.
Definitely.
But while you were here, you actually started a nonprofit organization called Dance Included, which provides free dance classes to kids in local schools and all that.
Yeah, it was through the USC Neighborhood Outreach Program.
How did that go?
It went amazing. I was surprised how easy it was to really get something like that started. I knew USC had a family of schools that they sort of take under their wing and have programming with. So I went over to the Neighborhood Outreach Department and said I wanted to get something going, and it was relatively easy to set up. 32nd Street School was kind of our home base where we got things started. What we did was have student volunteers come in to teach classes, and it basically replaced what I was talking about before, that sort of lack of arts in schools. We now were offering dance classes to kids as an after-school activity in the local schools. I think we had about 5 at the time. We serviced about 300 kids, and at the end of the year, we did a big recital. And after I left the university, I made sure that the program still went on, and it's actually in its 10th year this year.
Wow. So it has survived you. And
it has. Yeah. So it's still happening. Students can still volunteer and be a part of the program. Just email danceincluded@gmail.com and you can get involved.
Now, what's it like teaching young kids to dance?
It's really rewarding. It's awesome. I always say I think dance is something that's so natural to everybody. I mean, you hear the music and you want to kind of tap your feet and move around, and it is a physical activity, which is wonderful because a lot of kids aren't getting that either these days. But, I mean, their faces just light up, especially with tap dancing. It's so musical, so you're really making music. And I think people are usually surprised at how easy it is, even kids. It's not something that's too hard to pick up.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, if you do at like professional level, these guys they're like percussionists.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, it's a long journey, and some people have more of an affinity for it than others, but it's definitely something that's natural and something that I think everybody can do at a sort of novice entry level and have a lot of fun with it.
Now, Cody, do you dance at all?
A little bit.
No, only because of Jackie. I can imagine, right?
Well, I remember the first time that I met Jackie's mother and grandmother, who still both tap dance. And the first thing her grandma said was, "Let me see your time step." So that was it. I had to brush up on my skills.
You got to come prepared.
Yeah.
You got to come prepared. In that family, you really got to know your stuff. So
Yeah.
it's more than just being a smooth talker. You actually have to walk the walk.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good thing for the most part. But I guess sort of rounding this out is that, and I like what you talk about when it comes, I think, kids, when you say that they are excited to actually I mean, dancing is one thing, just getting outside the classroom and having a good time. That's a big deal. And we covered, I don't know if you know this, you might, because this is a cool dance program that does a lot of connections to the inner city. It is Break On 2. You know about that? Guy's name is Ed KZ, I think. He came on Conrad's Corner. He did a little segment, and they do this dance outreach program with Dorsey High School kids.
Cool.
And,
I don't know about that, but that sounds really awesome.
And it's cool because not only do they do the dancing stuff, but it's also a mentorship program with some USC students. And there's that, and as well as your program as well, that collaborative nature where they sort of say, oh, well, there's Jackie and there's a lot of other your friends with USC. It's like, that could be me someday. Looking up to you guys. That's, I'm sure that, do you happen to know that maybe any students that you coached back then, did they make it to a good, solid 4-year institution, maybe like USC or something like that?
I do, actually. One of my students over at 32nd Street, she was a senior at the time that we started dancing, and she went to a junior college, and then she wound up going to UCLA. But
honestly, that could be a better school than SC, depending on what you want to do, so props to her.
Yeah, and she actually, what was really great, in addition to that, is she kept tap dancing. So she's still studying, and dance has become like a really big part of her life, in addition to going on to med school and becoming a doctor, so... As
it is with your part of your life, of course. But that's the main thing you do with I'm sure the dance side helps continue it, like financially and sort of make it a nice part of your life as well. So you sort of found a way to do that. And then I'm sure Cody picks up the other end. Yeah. Anyway, Jackie, Cody, I want to thank you guys for coming on Conrad's Corner. And once again, what's that website if you want to buy and learn more about the Dance Dot?
Sure. It's mydancedot.com.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. When we come back here on Conrad's Corner, some stories, top news about the death of 2 USC students over spring break. Don't want to miss that. I'm Conrad Wilton. Conrad's Corner continues right after this.